Hi. Right, on to it. I thought I would go over today's super medicine and superfood all in one go because they're really exciting. I'm not going to go too much about it, but okay, so first things first, dandelion. That wonderful, beautiful flower that everyone sees as a weed. And a weed is something that is noxious or unwanted in the garden. So I don't see it as a weed at all because dandelion to me is one of nature's best little gems that you can use. You can use the whole plant, not the flower maybe, but definitely the leaves and the stem and the root. Now, in a simple terms, the leaves, the upper part of the plant that lives above the ground, is hugely beneficial for the urinary tract, for the bladder, for the kidneys. So basically, our urinary tract systems, it's magical for. So whether you use the leaves for salads, whether you dry them and then make a tea. I mean, you can make the tea out of the fresh leaves, but you might as well dry them and then you've got some in the cupboard. As long as you dry a leaf out really well, it will keep for a long time. Just make sure there's no moisture left in it and dry it naturally. So just cut it and then put it in the sunlight. It doesn't take very long. And it'll shrivel up and go all brown. But it's still highly beneficial. And so it's really good if, say, for example, you retain water. If you're prone to pains in the kidneys, it's really quite useful. It contains some nutrients as well, and so consequently you're going to get benefit that way. And it doesn't taste too bad. I mean, it doesn't taste wonderful like tea, but it doesn't taste too bad at all. You can always mix it with other herbs. And so that's the upper part. So just remember the leaves and everything, urinary tract. Now the root, which is just purely magic, because if you don't want dandelions in your garden and you're pulling it up anyway, you might as well keep the roots. Now the roots are hugely, hugely beneficial for our liver. It has a supply of iron, and it also helps cleanse and remove toxins from our systems. So with the root, scrub them off, chop them up roughly, just like you did with the ginger, and simmer it for 20 minutes. And if you want to, you can always put it in ice cube containers and put it in the freezer. And then you've got a tonic that you can have. I mean, you could always mix the root and the leaf together, because then you're getting a liver and kidney cleanse all in one go. You can't do any harm. So it's a really, really magical combination. So don't forget to use it, but use it well. So you don't boil the leaves, because you'll remove most of the chemical components that are valuable. Don't try and just pour boiling water over the roots, and you won't get the value at all. So it's just finding the right way to use them, don't you think? So that's the herb of the day. And yeah, it's just in your backyard, so why not use it? There's lots of other herbs in your backyard too that we're not going to go over, but I just thought that one was really important for most. Today's superfood is black Himalayan salt. Now, you might think of that as a spice or herb, but I actually think of it as a superfood. Now, you've probably used or heard of pink Himalayan salt. Now, pink Himalayan salt is hugely beneficial too, but I like the black because it gives you just a little extra je ne sais quoi. And so the Himalayan salt has over 84 mineral compounds that are critical for our health. Of course, it includes sodium, but because the sodium is accompanied by all these other mineral compounds, it makes it beneficial to us, not the white stuff we get as table salt, which is everything stripped out and a bit of iodine shoved back in for good measure. That's when it becomes toxic. So that's that little bit out of the way. So let's focus on the benefits of this amazing salt. The great thing about the black is it has those 84 minerals, but it also has extra iron, but it also has a compound called sulfur. Now, sulfur, don't confuse sulfur with sulfites. Sulfur is that eggy smell when you go to a spa, which has got really nutritive ingredients to it. It's that sulfur. It actually helps our body to detoxify, and we actually need it for every cell in our body. And we get it through our food, like we get eggs, it's got sulfur in it, and other foods have got sulfur in too. So really important, but it's quite concentrated. So what that does is help support our detoxification system. So it stops the stressors. So with this magical salt as well, it has another enzyme in it. And this enzyme helps our digestive processes, and it also can help our good gut bacteria. So why wouldn't you have it? Now, in the document that's accompanied this day is we have a recipe to make a saturated solution. We call it a sole. Now, a sole, S-O-L-E, a sole is basically where you put some salt in a jar. Say, for example, the jar is that big, and you quarter fill it with salt. You top it up with hot water, and with water, not hot water, with water, shake it, leave it for 24 hours, give it a shake every now and then. And if there's no salt left, you add more salt to it. And then you leave it for another 24 hours, giving it a shake every now and then. And as long as if you keep on coming back and there's no salt left, it's not saturated. So what you want to do is you want to make sure there's a little sort of bit of salt at the bottom. Then you have a saturated solution. And then you know your dosage, because if you don't saturate it, you don't know how much you're getting. So if you saturate it, you know that you can't get any stronger. So start with a teaspoon in some warm water, and you can use it as a gargle. You can take it, it's really good as when people suffer with constipation. It can really help with that. You need a dessert spoon or a tablespoon for that, but as a general tonic, because you're getting so many minerals, you can take a teaspoon or two a day. And you'll find your limit, because, as I say, it can have a laxative effect, so you know how far you can go. So that is our superfood and super medicine for the day. So I hope you have just a brilliant day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.